What's good, gamers? Akalon here, and of course, welcome back to each and every one of you. In today's video, we are discussing Elune, specifically the future of the story of Elune. The video is brought on by a comment on my previous video about Arthas Reincarnated. If you want to check that out, it's on the channel. And very specifically, the comment itself, I did not agree with. The comment, however, sparked a thought in me, a thought that I've had for a long time, and a topic that I've been thinking about for a long time. But I don't know why I never actually made a video on this. But as soon as I read this comment, I was like, oh, what? I've had this thought before. So the comment comes from Niar, production official. Thank you so much for the comment. I really appreciate you. And while, as I said, I don't agree with your comment, I do think that there's something interesting to be discussed about Elune. Before we can get into that, I think we do have to talk about what is Elune, and then we can go from there. Well, what is Elune? We don't know, actually. We know very little. We know that she's the moon goddess, according to the Kaldorei. We know that the Kaldorei worship her. She's very much a pillar of their society. What we don't know is how long Elune has been part of broad elven society. Remember, the elves used to actually be one society. I mean, the split happened very much around the time of Azshara. A lot of elves were already a little bit fed up with Azshara's rule, so they were already sort of pulling apart. But then after Azshara went apeshit and almost destroyed Azeroth, it really splintered. Some elves became completely obsessed and addicted to all sorts of magic and foul and all the rest of it. The Kaldorei, however, stuck with Elune, and we, as far as we know at least, since the dawn of the Kaldorian Empire, they have worshipped Elune. The priestesses of Elune are considered to be some of the highest members of their society. Their leader, Tyrande, is literally a priestess of Elune, right? So Elune, very much a central part of it. As I said, the problem is we don't actually know how Elune fits into broader elven society. We know that the broad-based high elves and the Cinderai and the Kaldorei, we know that they never outright worshipped Elune, but that doesn't mean that there weren't sects or sections of their society that worshipped Elune. We know the Kaldorei pretty much from the beginning had a favorability towards Elune, but it is possible that while it wasn't as broadly practiced within the other elven societies, they may have had sects of this. Outside of that, very little is actually known about Elune. For the longest time, Elune never actually interfered in the mortal matters of the world. And this was by design. When Chris Mason was asked about this, he said he would prefer for the player base never to know who Elune is, because Elune has always been used as a bit of a writing tool. It's a plot device. If you need something done and you don't really have a way to do it, well, let Elune do it, because fundamentally we don't know the limits of her power. We don't know exactly what she is, and so it doesn't really matter. In Shadowlands, all of that changed, because we found out that Elune is actually the sister of the Winter Queen. Now, I've had conversations about this before. That word, sister, could mean a lot of things. It doesn't have to mean that Elune and the Winter Queen is the same. It could be that Elune predates the Winter Queen by some thousands of years, or by just, hundreds of millions of years. And it could be that Elune is far more powerful than the Winter Queen. But if you're just coming out of the sepulcher of the first ones, you've just been born, and here you see someone that looks quite similar to you, and they tell you, hey, sister, how you doing? You're not going to argue. You're not really going to question that. You're going to be like, yeah, okay, cool. You are my sister. We know that Elune spent some time in the Shadowlands. We know that Elune left the Shadowlands. The reasons why has never actually been explored, nor has it been explained in any way, shape, or form. So we are left guessing. Now, during Shadowlands, a lot of us took Folk and Fairy Tales, the book World of Warcraft, and very specifically the story about the moon, the blue child, and the sun. And a lot of us trying to superimpose Elune into that story, because obviously when there's the moon, and especially in a folk and fairy tale book, it stands to reason that it's most likely going to be Elune or Anshe or Musha for the sun and for the moon. But Musha has for a long time been sort of speculated is actually just a different word for Elune. Whatever the case might be, we tried to figure that out. And what we came close to, really, the only thing we got away from that story that kind of made sense was that Zuval may be looked at as the sun, the one that went away. And Zuval and Elune may have been incredibly close. They may have actually been lovers at one point. With Zuval being locked away, in other words, go away, that's what the fairy tale entails. The sun leaves and the moon finds herself completely alone. And the moon then goes off to go look for the blue child. Go look for Azeroth. In other words, that would be the story of Elune and Zuval. We don't exactly know why Zuval would have been considered the sun, but like I said, very little of this is actually known. All right, so now we're left asking the question, what is Elune's place in the future of the story? What if I were to tell you, I think Sylvanas is about to become the true champion of Elune. And I don't mean that Elune is going to replace Tyrande with, Sylvanas. I mean that Sylvanas was always meant to be the champion of Elune. That was her birthright, and that birthright was stolen from her by Arthas and by Zuval. Sylvanas was referred to even by her sisters as Lady Moon, while Verisa was referred to as Little Moon. Now remember what I said in the beginning. While the broader Kaldurai or Qualdurai would not have worshipped Elune, it is entirely possible that the Windrunner family, because again, very little is known about the Windrunner family outside of the fact that there were 3 daughters and also 1 son, although again, very little known about their actual family. We do know that, they called each other Little Moon and Lady Moon, which in World of Warcraft, we're talking about the moon. Elune has to have some reason for being there. The other thing that I would point to that I think actually maybe proves this point even more is the fight between Tyrande and Sylvanas. Tyrande begs Elune. She tells Elune, my life, I will give my life if you give me this vengeance. Grant me the power to take her down finally, forever. And Tyrande actually does that. Elune grants her the power to fly. She shoots up, she grabs Sylvanas, throws her to the ground, and she has her hands around Sylvanas' neck. She is about to get the ultimate victory. Sylvanas looks unfazed. She's not afraid. Instead, Sylvanas almost mocks Tyrande. And then Sylvanas says, even now your god takes your power. And Elune withdraws her power from Tyrande. Why? This is all Tyrande ever wanted. This is why Tyrande decided to become the Night Warrior. This was the reason. Why now? Why take that power from her now? Well, I think it's because Elune has grander designs. Remember what Xal'atath called Elune? She said that Elune was an upstart goddess. Now, upstart has 2 meanings. It can either mean someone that's causing a lot of problems amongst the gods. So this is a god that's causing a lot of mischief. Or it can mean startup. In other words, this is a god that is still in the making, still trying to become a god. Maybe Elune knew what would happen to Sylvanas. Maybe Elune very carefully tried to guide Sylvanas, tried to influence Tyrande even in some ways, to make sure that Sylvanas would end up exactly where she is now, inside the mall. Now, Sylvanas, of course, is in the mall looking for Nathanos. But what if something of Elune was lost inside the mall? Now, if we go back to the fairy tale says that the moon and the sun fell in love, and they adored each other. And then the sun went away, and the moon was alone, and felt like she had lost a part of herself. The mall, until we, of course, arrived, was completely inescapable. meaning that even for a being like Elune, were she to go into the maw to retrieve whatever it is that she had lost, she would not have been able to escape. We still to this day do not know what Torghast was built for or what lies at the heart of it. I've said during Shadowlands, it looks kind of like a prison, a place that was built to contain something, specifically something of immeasurable power. What if that is what Sylvanas' job is? That is where Elune wants her, and that is where Elune will guide her. And that is where Sylvanas will discover the path that she was originally chosen for, to be Lady Moon, the warrior of Elune. This suggests, of course, that during the last expansion, where we're going back to Quel'Thalas, I believe I think it's midnight, or is it the Last Titan? I think it's midnight that we go back to Quel'Thalas. Anyways, in one of the two expansions that we go back to Quel'Thalas, I believe we will finally see Elune and Sylvanas. That will be when Sylvanas returns to save Azeroth again, or at least fight on the side of Azeroth. Only this time, Sylvanas will not be returning as the Banshee. She will not be returning as the Dark Lady. She will return as Lady Moon. Even when we look at Sylvanas' life, she was a savior. She was a protector to her people. She was light itself to her people. The High General, the Ranger General of the Quel'Thalasian army, Lady Moon. And then, when she fell, when Arthas killed her, she became the Dark Lady. The two sides of Elune, both light and darkness, the twilight of it all. I genuinely believe that that is what's going to happen, but that is just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below where you agree, where you disagree. Do you think you have places in the story that disprove it, or maybe even prove it? Let me know in the comment section down below. Hit the like if you like, dislike if you didn't. And for $1 a month, you too can support this channel and keep this channel free from sponsorships that want to sell you shit that you do not need. A massive shout out to all of the patrons that is already supporting. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, and I shall see all of you in the next one. Peace.